What's up, guys? JP back at you once again, bringing you guys day number 17 in my 14th annual 31 Days of Horror, a series in which we watch and review 31 horror films in 31 days, all during the month of October. Still going pretty strong, even though some of the reviews are later in the night. But the film that I decided to review today is a film I'd never seen before. I had it on a Blu-ray here, decided to give it a watch, and that is Burke and Hare from the year 1972, coming to us courtesy of Kino. I don't know, is this, it's under the Kino Classics line, but it says Redemption on like the Blu-ray menu, but it's not, doesn't seem to be part of the Redemption line. So yeah. This is a UK film, and it's based on the famous Burke and Hare murders from the, I believe, 1820s in Edinburgh, Scotland. And I know another film that this is that was based on this story, The Doctor and the Devils, from like 82 or 85, somewhere around there. And I really like that film, so I was interested to see another take on that story. It's a story that's been adapted a ton of times. It's, based on a real life story and murders. But yeah, it follows these two men who are, just kind of bums. And their name are William Burke and William Hare. And they live in 1820s Scotland. They have wives, and they're grave robbers. So they go around and steal corpses and sell them to the local university, where they use those corpses to teach lectures at their university and for all the medical students. So obviously when you're working with corpses, they don't last very long, so they're in constant need of new corpses, and they pay a pretty good price for them. So Burke and Hare start, stealing these corpses. The law kind of doesn't pay too much attention to it because it does help with the medical stuff going on in the town, so they kind of turn a blind eye to it. Well, the fresher the corpses, the better pay that they get, and also it's they need them quite often, so there's not always people dying that are fresh. So they slowly start to get the idea of murdering people based on one of the, they sort of have this like townhousey thing too. They murder one of the people there, and they sell that corpse, and it's super fresh, obviously. Eventually, their wives sort of find out about it and encourage them to kill more people and even help with it to an extent. And they start murdering people around the town, but they eventually get a little greedy and start murdering younger people and then people that are a little bit more known. So it eventually, becomes an issue. So that's basically the plot. I really like this story. I think it's like super interesting, and I really like Doctor and the Devils, and I like this movie a lot too. This one sort of takes a more playful nature with the story. I would say it definitely has a mix of comedy in there. There's actually a song that is about the characters that plays in the movie. It's like, sounds very like 60s, it's a, interesting song. In general, I'd probably say my biggest complaint with this movie is the lightheartedness of it, because this is a pretty dark story. And they do kind of make it a little goofy, and I think the music is definitely partially to blame for that. So I'm not really the biggest fan of like the added comedic aspects of the movie, although I don't think they're really that bad either. It's just kind of not what I was expecting, so I was a little bit put off by it. But other than that, I think it's a pretty solid movie. I love these period pieces set in like, you know, the 18s or the 17s or 16s. Like they're just, I just really like period pieces from, you know, Eastern countries. I think that they're the time periods of, you know, like Jack the Ripper and stuff like in London. I've always liked those time period movies, and as I get older and watch more movies, I think probably when I was younger I probably didn't like them, but as I get older, for some reason they really work for me. And I think that they do a good job like setting the like time period and tone of the time. Pretty much everybody in this town is either a drunkard, a prostitute, or a doctor, and there's some police too. But it's pretty interesting. They spend a lot of time at like the brothel. One of the students at the academy spends a lot of time at the brothel, and he starts to fall in love with this young prostitute, who ends up being an important part of the movie. And there's actually quite a bit of nudity in this movie, which I don't know, maybe because like I was expecting it to be like a period piece. Sometimes you don't get a lot of nudity in older movies that are period pieces, like now, yeah. But I don't know, maybe I just wasn't like expecting that much nudity in this one. But yeah, there's a ton of nudity, which is pretty cool. And I think that the acting is really solid all around. Like everybody from Burke and Hare to their wives to the young prostitute to the doctor or the student. I think everybody does a really good job. And yeah, they end up like suffocating these people so that they can't really tell that they've been murdered. But also the people at the academy sort of just like don't care, like the professor there. And in fact, you know, in the real case, you know, they eventually do get caught in real life. I won't say what happens in the movie, but and they actually, I think Hare turns on Burke and basically snitches him out for some sort of like immunity or something, and then Burke was found guilty of his crimes and hung publicly, and I believe his body is still on display as some like medical museum or something like that, like his skeleton or something, which I think was part of the ruling, like you deserve to be publicly displayed in death or something like that. But the doctor who was sort of buying these corpses was also pretty much shunned from his, you know, profession, and pretty much lived an obscure life after that. And also the wives were in trouble for this as well, but I don't think they ever got prosecuted or the case was dropped. But it's a very interesting story if you've never looked into it. I've always kind of been fascinated with, you know, stories like this, like grave robbers, like Ed Gein and stuff like that. Pretty interesting. But yeah, this is a pretty good movie. I really did like it. Despite like my minor issues with the comedy and stuff like that, I thought the movie overall was pretty great. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7.5 out of 10. I'm surprised I didn't actually watch this one before, considering we did a top 10 of 1972, and I probably watched like 50 or so movies for that year, and this, looking back, it probably could have made my top 10. I don't remember what all was on that list, but yeah, this is one that it possibly could have made it. So yeah, with that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with another one. I'm kind of just freeballing these picks, you know, just looking at the shelf and grabbing a title. That's sort of what I've been doing. But hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.